this awful face again. I am sorry. So, welcome to another live, guys. Obviously, a bit later than planned, a last minute shift. But you guys know with us now that it can vary. Andy, I see you in the comments. Very good evening to you. Hopefully, being a bit later today as well, we should get some of our audience that's other parts of the world. So hopefully some of them might be able to tune in tonight. Now, we did the garage last time and obviously didn't go as well as usual. I would say the worst ever yet with certain things. So at the moment, the garage is not being put on the back burner as such, but I think it's probably better that I concentrate on it fully, especially where the roof is concerned. So on that one, that's going to be off for life for now, mainly just to give me the chance to make sure that, you know, I'm fully concentrating on it. Because obviously with our lives, it's about the social, it's about the chat. So it's trying to get that good balance. And I think last time I was a bit too distracted with the chat, which isn't a bad thing in one way, because it's talking to you guys. But in the other way, it's obviously making sure I don't mess up the kits. So our next one is one of the bigger ones. It would be interesting to see what people guess it is. I'm not sure if this is loading. It isn't on my computer. So if you can't see it, I suppose it's probably useless saying that because you won't be able to see it to then reply. Oh, it's loaded up now. So, but yes. If anybody wants to have a guess at what this kit is, as I said, it is one of the bigger ones. We've even got 3 sheets of instructions on this one. So I think this one will be done over quite a few lives. This is one that, again, will be prominent in the layout. It's one we did already have, so Andy... Not quite the castle. We're still debating whether we might get that into the layout, but for now it's not the castle. It is one of the older kits. If I give a clue, maybe 2016. I don't know if that will help anyone. But on the instruction sheet, it was like the Midley, so the older instructions, but with the printed bits on there, so you actually know which bits it is. But as I said, it is one of the bigger pieces for the layout. The one we had is obviously lovely that we got donated it, but for the layout purposes, we thought it's one that we might replace and redo. Sean, very good evening. Hope you're keeping well, buddy. I think I got it right tonight. I'm getting there, so... Well, Andy, it seems like you're the only one guessing, so I might have to give the game away here. But yeah, as I said, it's 3 sheets of instructions, 2 lots of glazing sheets, 3 lots of strengtheners, 4 sheets, and loads of other little bits with it. So I think we will be seeing this kit for quite a few lives to come. So the one we are doing is the booking hall. You're better now, I got your name right. Only took me how long? I'm awful, aren't I? So yeah, the one we are doing, guys, is the booking hall. You may have seen it on our layout before in previous videos, but I don't know if you noticed or not, it wasn't looking the healthiest best. Obviously, we're extremely grateful that we got given it. It's a start, and hopefully something we can pass on for somebody who's not quite like, you know, we're able to get things in bits. So this was, you know, what Rob got me one day when we went to Rutland again. So obviously you can guess the thickness of the box itself, I think, just shows you what kind of task ahead it is. So as I said, we've got 3 instruction sheets. You got a new station today, Metcalf one pre-built, £5. Is that new station as in one of the smaller ones? Because as I said, this was £24 the one we paid for it. But as I said, it is the main big booking hall, so you know it is understandable. But 3 sheets, so it is going to take a while, yeah. Andy, dig a hole, that's for sure. You know, and this is multi-bits, so you've got, yeah, I think the 3 is more the fiddly bits. You know, using the laser cut woods and the really fiddly bits, so that's the platform. Now, if I'm correct as well, Engage, John had this kit, and he said the canopy he had to get separately. So that's interesting. On the Engage, you have to buy any kind of platform itself separately. Obviously, you do have the add-on, though, that you can add platform kiosk kit, and you can extend the canopy. So even if you get this kit and think, no, it's not, you know, it's too small, they do the add-ons as well. But I think for us at the moment, it's just purely the sheet itself. But as I said, it's not just the building on this one. It's obviously the platform as well that you're building with it. So yeah, it's certainly a biggie. You know, and I will be taking my time with this one, but 3 lots of strengthener sheets. Where's the other half? He's upstairs. He's actually editing this week's episode at the moment, so he is doing that at the moment. I'm sure he will be tuning in a bit shortly. Going back tomorrow for 2 lumps of track and an engine shed. Oh, brilliant. I don't blame you. To be fair, that sounds like a pretty good deal. So we've obviously got 2 lots. I think this is from the main building, this one. And that's the one we start with. And again, even with our sheets here, you've got 4 of them. So it's definitely a biggie. And then we also have all your laser cut bits here. But as you might have just seen, these do come on later in the build, so I don't think we have to worry about them now. Can't work out which bits these are for yet, but I'm sure we will figure it out as we go along. Possibly connected to these with L1 and L2. And obviously as well your usual ridge tiles that everyone has so many of, and your edging and your sheets as well. Again, these are for the platform, so they will come shortly. It is lovely to see plenty of people tuning in. We've not long come from a shed ourselves with the nicer weather, so that's why it is a bit later. As I said, hopefully we will get, as the evening goes on, some of our viewers around the world, because I know for them, bless them, it is hard for them to tune into things live. So hopefully tonight there's a chance for them. And I know Rob, as it goes on, when he gets onto YouTube and live, I'm sure he will update the description as well. Yep. Tyrone. Have I seen you on here before? I'm not sure. I apologise if I have. But yes, hit the like back button. Thank you very much. Hermitage Road, very good evening. Hope you're keeping well. So these instructions, they are the older kind of instructions. However, they are the ones with the printed bits on. So a little bit easier, but still it is about taking your time and just going through it. So oh, you've been having issues with yours, Sean, so what headache I took those. Even he got confused. Well, I'm glad you've got there in the end and sorted out, though. It's always frustrating when you've got a problem and you just can't get it figured out, isn't it? Oh, but sometimes you just have to walk away, come back to it. You're watching from Michigan. Wow. In America, hello. Lovely to have you catch in. I realise it's probably the later lives that you will tune into rather than the morning ones. The day ones here is about 11 o'clock we start, so I know I've got a friend in America. I know they're 6 hours behind, so yeah, you're just waking up with your tea and your... So, what time is it there now? Right now, it's 11 minutes past 10 at night. So, as I said, it's usually a bit earlier we do a live. While Jason at Barnabas has been off, he's been happy for us to jump onto his time. He's also said to us, you know, anytime he can't go live, that we can as well. So usually about 9 o'clock is when we look at starting, but tonight with just a few things it is a bit later. But the lives can go anything from an hour to 3 hours, so even if we start at 9, there's usually a chance to catch in, which is always good. So as I said, this one is definitely a biggie. So again, the glazing on this I have noticed is, it's 11 past 5 here. I just got home from work. Oh, brilliant. So you get to chill from work watching this live. Now these glazing sheets are like the garage as well. They're slightly thicker. Now something I was told and works really well from Paul Woods, one of our members on YouTube. He's paid for membership, so we're grateful for that. With these ones, he suggested just scoring the windows just for the glue to stick in, and I've got to say, since doing that, it works a heck of a lot better. So I will be doing that with these as well. Now this is suggesting, it didn't mention it on the other one, that was an earlier kits and instructions. So this actually suggests with the thicker sheets, scoring it and then bending it. So we will try that way. And obviously the canopy glazing, we don't even have to worry about that. But it says it's important that you cut where indicated, otherwise the roof won't fit properly. That is later on, but it's handy to know it's there so you know to go back to it. So handy. I'm too young to tell the time yet. 3, nearly 6. Oh, my mental age is probably about the same, so I'm with you there. Obviously for us, we don't have the luxury of a builder's yard. It does say, you know, in every one of these, having a builder's yard, so all your glazing and all that out. This desk, Rob's desk, it's kind of multi-use. My drawing, you know, there's so many uses for this desk that just can't do that. So it gets built in stages. But I find as well, I'd probably get too easily confused if I put it like that. I would mess it up and things would get moved and I'd just be lost. So the first one it starts us with is windows that go onto one of the building sheets on the main walls. So I'm just gonna get the pieces we need just to make sure. Obviously, again, that's the only thing, because I can't build it up, is I do have to look for bits. So just bear with me, guys. What the sheets say. They tend to put a lot of the sheets together that you need anyway. That is the good thing. Sheet C is definitely very much like the main building, so that is further on. The one thing I have kind of skipped ahead to, but that's because obviously I'm building it in stages, is knowing what windows I do need. Now this one actually tells you which ones you need to do. So again, as I said, I can't cut everything out and get it ready. So luckily I've got it here to just cut out what I need. So I need 2 W3s, which are here, a W1 and a W2. So they will be cut out as well, ready to get stuck on. So you don't stick them on straight away. But it is, everyone works differently, and if you're like me, you can't build it up. Sometimes reading ahead isn't a bad thing as long as you don't miss a step when you're building it. So I know that is what I need. Only thing it doesn't tell me with the main walls is which windows I need. Which sheet I need, sorry. Of building A and building B here. I would assume it is, yeah, by the look of it, it is building A. It would be common sense as well, but you never know with these kits. I do like about Metcalf, they have thought about things as they've gone along, listened to people, change things. So at least it's not the first lot of instructions I'm working with, which is the main thing. So, well, I worked at today, you're off work this week, got 4 days next week because it's bank holiday again. So Jen on holiday, oh lovely. Have you gone anywhere nice, or is it a home but you're taking it as a pardon me, taking it as a holiday? Yeah, exactly, Andy. With this especially, it's not one that, even looking at the pictures, I'm going to be going over the instructions and going over them again, which is why here with the glazing, I could guess which one it is. You know, it's some of it you say is common sense, but here I know for sure when you actually attach the glazing in, this is the ones you need. So I need to figure out where D2, D4 is owned. That's the only thing. Doesn't actually tell me. Let's have a look. Because you have your build ups for the windows. So I just need to figure that out. Where that is. Because you do need to build the supports. I think it is one of my sheets actually. I'm not entirely sure. Because again, they aren't labelled as much as the other one. No, that's definitely all canopy stuff. That's definitely later. T2 and D4 are actually on the glazing sheet. So again, with this being the first one especially, I know you guys are used to just bearing with me while I get it figured out. So yeah, we've got to get the windows and the frames for them. So, and I've got a new blade on. At the end of the last one, it was starting to get a bit sketchy with the blade, so that has been changed out already. I'm just going to try and move this so you're not having to see my head while I'm cutting and sorting it out. Just bear with me, guys, while I have a play around with the camera position. I don't suppose I've ever got on with this. So we've got a W1. And don't worry, it's nowhere near Rob's table either. W1, W2 and 2 W3. So I might as well cut these out while I'm here. Hope everyone is keeping well anyway, and been in your sheds and lofts this week? It's definitely fine. We're definitely spending more time in the sheds now. It is a nicer weather, so as I said, we spent a lot of this evening out in the shed listening to Jason's radio show actually as well. So we've got both our doors here as well. Now I'm noticing with this kit, it does seem that the bits I need are on the correct sheet all together, so hopefully it'll be a lot smoother for you guys waiting for me while I find the next bits that I need. For that will be going in there as well. So again, for kit bashing purposes, if anybody is new to my lives, as everyone goes on, all these little bits, you never know when you might need them, especially with church. A lot of them, you wonder if it's purpose actually. A lot of them work for gravestones, so I'm not sure what these would be used for, but you never know. While Trev isn't in yet, possibly things like this he might be able to use on his Z gauge. But also with bits we're making like walls and things like this might also work towards capping stones, so. Ah, Jason, good evening. Speak of the devil. I was just saying how we were tuning into your show out in the shed. Guessing you're back home now and relaxing for the evening, Jason. As you can see here, my little pot of extras, like I said, from the church. Little offcuts like this will possibly cut down a bit, but there it'd be good shape for gravestones, so you never know when you might use an offcut. As I said, these actually look pretty good possibly for capping stones, so you never know. So our radio show complete, now time to chill and relax. And Machine New Zealand, watching from New Zealand, great channel. Well, thank you for tuning in. It's lovely. I've been to New Zealand. I used to have family there and it is beautiful. So imagine you guys are coming into winter now though, aren't you? It's getting warmer here but colder for you guys. So, as I said, I have read on these that they're going to be a lot easier apparently to bend and snap off. That is what they recommend. So, I'm going to go with that idea. Not sure how it works when you've got bits like this, but I'm sure we will figure it out. I don't know if my head is getting in my way as well. I'll be running South Eastern Chatham Railway on Sunday if that's your bag. Well, it would take us a while to get there. Maybe if there's one going on when I visit the folks, you never know. Unfortunately, we are Wales this week. We're actually working Saturday, so... But if anyone is down that way, I'm sure Andy would love to see you. Going into winter, but we have 23 degrees today. Oh, lovely. Something I was always told, you know, for us in the UK, you move out there and the first winter or two would actually feel quite warm, but when you then move on, you know, you've lived there a few years, you do it acclimatise. I certainly did moving into Wales, so... Is it 12 hours behind for you in New Zealand? Or roughly around there, isn't it? Yeah, Candy said 23 sounds lovely. I'm not sure if we've hit that yet. So I'm trying to bend this to see if it goes, but no. It says doing this as well gives it a nice clean cut, so oh, that did work pretty well, to be honest. Response from Norfolk originally, it's 9:30 here. Oh, so you're actually 11 hours behind, not 12. Oh, sorry, forward, not back, are you? Trying to think, yeah, you're ahead of us, aren't you? So it's 9:30 in the morning for you. Yeah, 11 hours ahead. Oh, that's RW1 for that one. To get off of its cuts. I definitely do like that idea. I wish I'd seen it before on the last one. Again, with this being a newer kit, I assume they've had people suggest it and added it in. So if anybody's got these thicker ones, definitely putting in your score lines and then just pushing into it really. Yeah, forward, so you're actually tomorrow. That early, 23 degrees, geez. What's your average, well, what's your temperature predicted to be today? Mike, very good evening, lovely. Oh, that's not gone at all. I don't think I've gone deep enough there. Yeah, no way is that pushing out without force, so I think I'm just going to add a few more cuts to that. Brian Finneton, just quickly popping in on my way to bed. It's been a long day. Ah, lovely. Well, thank you for finding the time to tune in. It is appreciated. Today is a bit later than usual start for us, so you go and get some rest and maybe see you on Saturday's live. Past few days have been pretty mental for us as well, so I don't know how late this one's going to go into. I think when I do feel tired, I will head off. Not sure it's going to be the usual 3 hours tonight, so W2. Ah, Choberton, very good evening. Don't worry. Everyone kind of pops in and out, so it's lovely to see you tuning in. We need 2 of these ones, so I've got that building grace, but mine has been made bigger. Oh, have you added the extension of the platform? I know that's something I did mention. You do have that, and weirdly, apparently the N-Gauge doesn't actually come with any platform at all. You have to buy that one. So yeah, I don't know how long we're having ours at the moment because it's not actually going to be seen as such. If you look back at our videos, we have had it placed in position for a while. It is more the front that you're probably going to see than the back. So I don't know what we're doing in terms of the extension. We'll see how this gets built first. Definitely a smoother way of cutting this, just putting in your marks and then bending. So definitely recommend that to anyone to follow that part of the guidance from them. I still feel like you have to make quite a few cuts in here. There we go. It's as easy as that. So our door frame ones. Which one is it? D2 and D4. Right. Well, that's weird. Next live, I will show you guys. Oh, brilliant, Brian. I will definitely be interested to see. I didn't realise there was a bigger building than this one, actually. Because this is the main booking hall, so... Is it easier? Problem with scissors, Andy, is I'm worried about just making sure it's spot on the line. But I think I tried cutting them before and it wasn't... I wasn't convinced with getting it to line up. But that's just me personally. So the interesting thing here, it says for the glazings for the door. So this is our door frame. You've obviously got your door and the glazings for the door and the top here. Now that says D2 to D4. I can see the D2 fitting, but the D4 is here. So you've got two D1s and two D3s. So I don't know if that's a printing error, if anybody's done it. I would assume it's literally one of these and one of these. D2 to D4, is that just saying it's one of these? I'm not sure. It's just said fit the door glazing to the back of the door and the smaller one. Fit the door back to the door frame, place to one side. So I am assuming that it can just be one I grab, and they're literally just saying it's one of these ones between D2 and D4. So not sure why that's a different number though. That's the only concern. They look exactly the same. I just don't understand why they are then two different ones. Third rail, very good evening. And Digger. Oh, hello. So I am just going to do a reads ahead. Because as I said, that's thrown me that they look exactly the same. So I'm not quite sure why it wants you to do that. No, just bear with me, guys. I'm just gonna, as I said, it's reading ahead a bit, but I don't want to do the wrong ones. But they are, to me, exactly the same. Things are good, third rail. Rob's upstairs editing this week's episode, so I'm just figuring out this booking hall, so yeah, as I said, I can't see why they're numbered differently. So because I can't actually see it mentioned further on, that's the weird thing. Can't even see another door frame. Yeah, so it just says here with the interior, just for door frames, and just figuring it out, guys. I think I'm gonna go with my gut on this, because they are literally exactly the same. I'm gonna go with my gut on this and just do D1 and D2, because I literally see no size difference if you put them up on my measurer here. That fits inside a box, so does that, and so does that, so they're exactly the same. So I think on this I am gonna trust my gut. Because as I said, the D1, it's all a bit... I don't get why the different numberings, because I also can't see them mentioned further on in the instructions. That's the weirdest thing of it as well. Power off at the workshop again. Welcome in Africa. So how long have you got power for now, is it? Have you got power for very long in yours, or? Yeah, I literally cannot see these mentioned anywhere else. That's sort of a weird thing. Jan, very good evening. And no worry, I say fashionably late, so don't worry. It's lovely to see you tuning in. But the weird thing is as well, building B I can't see mentioned either. Because you go to, oh, building B there. 4 window frames. 2, 3. Building B is an exact mirror image of A and fits together in the same way. So both sides you do, and it's just following through with this. So I can't see how, I think it's explained in a bad way that you just use these. Except, as I said, D1, it's just... There we go. A couple of hours a day, it's not good, is it? So while that's going, I am going to get these glued on, just so they can start drying before I attach them. And as I said, per Paul's suggestion with the thicker ones, that's definitely helped. Just putting in a few score lines for that glue to really stick into. I was finding on the garage it was only after the ones coming off other ones without these score lines, so it really does make a difference. I would say there's no exact science to the scoring, it's literally just as it comes out. So don't worry if there's not any specific shapes. I do try and do a few different directions just to give me that added grip. Just gonna tidy that up there as well. There we go. I'm thinking of getting a Metcalf kit to see if I can modify Butcher in some way or just enhance it. Well, if you're on Facebook, there's actually quite a good one I've noticed on the Metcalf page. People have been having a fun with what I believe is a pub, and then some people have turned it into a watermill, a garage, so many different ways. And pardon me, things that people have turned it into, so definitely worth checking it out for sure. It's all about making it your own, isn't it? So again, for anybody that's not seen me do my work, I like to line it up from above. That way it tends to be a lot easier at making sure that every bit and the glazing are lined up with each other. So I'm just pushing down on these to make sure that glue sticks, although it doesn't seem to be wanting to. So out come the clamps for now. I'm going to see if I can get this stuck. But yeah, it would definitely be interesting to see what you create from your kit. Would love to see it once it's completed. Right, Brian, have a good rest, lovely. Thank you so much for tuning in. Always appreciated when people tune in, no matter how long they can for. So have a well-deserved rest. Sounds like you've had a busy few days, lovely. And all my clips seem to have gone missing somehow. I'll have to find them tomorrow. And you can't go wrong with this either, because the frames are actually written with the right one as well, so can't go wrong with that. Again, as I said, it's mainly doing crosses, but if you have any kind of patterns you want to do just to make it your own, go ahead. I'm planning to work on my layout this week. Haven't touched anything in 2 months. Ah, well, I wish you the best with it. Sometimes life just gets in the way, doesn't it? So you don't always get the chance to get to it, do you? It's just the way it is. There's a few different reasons, isn't there? Finances, time, it's quite a lot that goes into it, isn't it? Especially when you have your power turned off and things, must be an added difficulty as well. Especially if it's a moment you have inspiration. You'll probably ruin it, of course. I doubt it. Number 1 rule. Mike's speech is shortly, lovely. I keep saying I do need to replace the glue in here as well. There we go. So as you can see, these will need tidying up once I've left them to dry as well. SJ Dusty, very good evening. Again, I'm just trying to clip. For somehow, as I said, my clips have gone AWOL. But hopefully that should be enough time to get get it to dry anyway if I do one each. So just get something heavy on it in the meantime, because it hasn't actually. That's just the overcut as well, which probably isn't helping. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? If it's something you enjoy, is building from scratch, you know, it's, and definitely will be something unique. That's, I suppose, the only thing with the Metcalfe kits is obviously they're all the same unless you change it yourself. So like the church, obviously, again, more than one people is going to have it. But because of that modification, you're not going to be exactly the same as everyone. And then when you weather them, and you do add your own touches. But I suppose scratch build, and you really can get exactly how you're imagining, or if you have a local church that you're picturing. Ah, Mike, you're back. And Valley, very good evening, lovely. Rob is actually away from live at the minute. He's busy editing this week's episode, so I don't know how long I'm going to be on and if Rob will be on, so I will tell him, obviously, that everyone says hello, so. As I said, I think some of these, while I have cut them along the lines, there is a bit of a gap for some reason. You know, they are over the edge, so I will be going back once I know these are dry. You know, once I get to the last one, and just tidying up that cut. That has the chance it may lead to lifting as well. Obviously, you don't want that. It's difficult as it is sometimes making sure that that glue stays stuck. So a fair well problem with my scales that everything needs to be scratch built, loco, rolling stock. Oh, we use Z gauge then, because we've obviously got Trev, who's a Z gauge as well. And he's made everything from scratch as well, you know, including bits off hearing aids and things. So it must be hard doing in that such a small scale. And gauge is small enough, you know. And then obviously with this one, because there is repeated sections, I will probably do them off live again, because I'm sure it's not something you guys want to watch me do exactly the same thing. So once I've built this side up, the other side I will get built but off live. No, I can't see that stuff. I'm doing one on 24 Cape gauge big stuff. Oh wow. Oh, so instead of going small, you've gone bigger, which, yeah, it's all a scratch building. We've seen videos on like the garden ones, and I can't remember what gauge that is, but yeah, I think we watched a video. I can't remember who it was or whatnot, but it was a guy that, you know, has even built his own bridges, and he's got a big thing on bridges. Some of the bridges he's built were absolutely stunning. Andy, no worries, take care, lovely. Thank you for tuning in. That's not taken at all for some reason. Very interesting. Let's see if we can get this stuck down. It's just not playing ball. There we go. A little bit more pressure and it's gone on. But I will be clipping up just to make sure. So I'm just going to go back with these ones and neaten up the edging. Will take a bit longer with it being thicker, but I find the smaller bits that you cut off actually come off pretty easy. Saying that as this one is clearly not. There we go. Because the important thing I have kept in mind with these kits now is a lot of things are built to fit into certain places. So I also want to make sure this is all lined up so I don't later on find I'm having difficulties. So just neatening those edges up. Sydney, very good evening, lovely. I hope you're keeping well. Now, one thing I did forget to mention earlier on, and I do apologise. I know most of you guys are fine with language and that, but we do have some younger viewers. Not as much on the lives, but on the episodes. So, we try not to, but very occasionally it does happen. So, just a warning, an hour into the live. Better late than never, they say. Definitely getting that fine cut is all dependent on the angle. If you get that right angle, it's pretty quick cut, but what's you working on? Sydney, you've not missed a lot of such. The garage needs sorting out. Obviously the last live didn't go fantastically. So I've actually going to be working on that off the live just to give my full concentration. But the one we're working on now is a biggie. It's the booking hall. You know, the box itself is quite thick. 3 sheets of instructions, several different sheets of things. So it is a big one for sure. So definitely the biggest to date that I've built. So I'll be definitely taking my time. This is just one side of the booking hall. Now, the other side I will be doing off the live, just because it's exactly the same process. I've always said I don't want to bore you guys with repeats of things. I might do that one as a time lapse, because I know people like their time lapses. We can't do that with the lives. We did actually try, it just doesn't work. So that one we've given up. So I might do that as a little time lapse. Yeah, Sydney, I'm definitely not looking forward to the journey ahead. But the instructions themselves, they're the older set, but they're slightly newer because the brickwork and that is included in it. So, and being these sheets as well, they're actually the thicker sheets. But thanks to Paul's suggestion about indenting the glazing, they are sticking a lot better. So, I'm missing a thing somewhere. Where have I put that? I'm missing a door frame somehow. Well, that has disappeared off the table. How bizarre. Let's just disappear completely unless it's fallen down the front. Nope. Oh, how weird. I've definitely cut that out and stuck it. Oh, it's under the weight, isn't it, actually? I'm going balmy. I knew there was another one. I just put it under a slightly heavier weight just to make sure it was sticking, so. And then I have found, even though I've cut along the lines, there is a slight bit that comes over, so I'm just neatening it. I'm just tidying this up, so. Window sheets look thinner. Sydney, I don't know if they're any thinner, to be honest. They are definitely thicker than like the fire station and things like that. The only thing this instruction did include, being the newer ones, is when you cut it, and I have tried it out tonight when cutting, is that you kind of score it. You do have to do still quite a few cuts with it being thicker, and then you just bend it and it does break. You know, it doesn't break off as such. It goes in that straight line, so you don't have to worry about ending up with a window that breaks in half. So I did try that on their suggestion on the instructions, and it does work pretty well, to be honest. So I've also used Paul's suggestion with the indenting, and they seem to have stuck a bit easier as well with having those. I don't know if you can see it in the light. Possibly not, because it's focusing on the ring. No, it's not going to, I don't think. Ah, you can see there I've made the indentations multi-directional on the sheet, and it seems to stuck a lot better, so. But yeah, I think this is going to be one that we do on the lives for quite a few, so. So you're actually seeing me here. What they're saying about bending it over. Tom, very good evening. Hope you're keeping well, lovely. Rob isn't actually in the chat at the moment. He's he's actually editing. So I don't know if he's popping in tonight or not. I'm sure he will look back at the comments after. Okay, I definitely think this is a no-name, a Fingham. I would like to guess at what that is, but as I said, our channel, we know we do have some younger viewers, so we try and keep language to a minimum. It does happen. Obviously, we are human, and a lot of our viewers, we've even been told, you know, grandchildren that watch, they don't mind, but we obviously do appreciate there will probably be somebody that would, so we're non-PC, but we like to be a bit careful. But I am guessing what your railway name is called. Is it like me and everything seems to go wrong by any chance? So, as you saw, Sydney, that just pops out. You just put a bit of pressure after doing the indent and it pops out pretty easy, so... Yeah, Digger, yours watches. I know you were one that said about language and it's not a problem. Ah, Digger, so you know quite a few that are in there then. This is great, get together with all my mates here. Only thing I do find bizarre with this glazing, and again, it is probably for fit because you've only got that thin section there, but there is no bit at the bottom at all, so that's going to be very interesting for gluing, for sure. Making sure that sticks. I thought there would have been a little bit at the bottom to play with. So hopefully with enough scoring, it should be okay either side. There we go, as you can see, it literally just pops out. There we go. So this one, you have your different ones here. Now the glazings actually are applied on each separate bit. So one into the door first, into this one, and then you got your frame, and that glazing, if I can pick it up, is on top. So there is a little scope because it is quite thick for a dash of glue on the bottom at least. But I suppose with the door frame, that's why there isn't a lot of scope for room. So usually you find that whatever they do does have a purpose, sizing and things. If I cut it the right way. See, I won't be A little bit of direction, but see, again, I don't think at the top a lot of the support is going to be from that. Oh, I like that. I think my layout comes from a 2 runny sketch, which includes, I think I'm all honest. And it was 2 Ronnies at the Apple sketch as well, wasn't it? Later years when they came back. The apples and blackberries, wasn't it? I'm sure it was. Oh, the factory raspberry blower was there too. Not quite sure I get that one. Phantom raspberry blower. Could be that I've just missed a trick, but escapey bit of glue. There we go. So I'm just clipping these just to make sure. Just to give that added. There's a 2 running sketch when I throw Ripper as a raspberry. It's been years since I've watched them, to be honest. One of the series we're rewatching is actually Goodnight Sweetheart. So a little bit later than 2 Ronnies, isn't it? But I'm just going to see how much play I have at the bottom there with a frame. So yeah, it is quite a thin frame to show. 4 candles, yeah. Oh dear, what have we started in the chat? So I'm going to try and apply the finish line at the bottom here, just to try and give it that little support at the bottom. And do my usual line up trick. No, I'm going to have to go in with that and move it manually. Is the only problem with these absolutely tiny ones. So it can be really fiddly, so I dread to think in Z gauge, not Z gauge, sorry, N gauge, how difficult the booking hole is if it's already fiddly with bits like this. Just going to apply clips to these 2 for a minute, just to give it that added extra. And I've noticed that the window will need a slight cut to it, so while that is drying, we can get on with the supports with the main walls. So we can do that. be a bit careful with that now. I have accidentally cut wrong line because it usually overruns. I have just seen that, but it folds over. So if it does break off, it will just be folded over to be in line. That's the only problem, that they do overlap the printing. So just be careful on that yourself. Flymo, lovely to see you. I'm very good, thank you. I hope you're okay. It's not a problem. I think we've gathered with notifications, actually. Obviously, the unfortunate thing with us is we can't always know for sure when we're live, so it is relying on notifications. And I believe some people get them and some people don't. So it's not a problem. If you think fucking bad, there's no way I'm telling you what I've called the lake and the local diving club. Oh, go for it. As I said, we do have a warnings on here that language may be used. We are non-PC, you know, it's not like if someone swears we're going to be offended. It's just obviously, you know, us in terms of running the channel, there will always be someone. So this is why we put the warnings in place. I usually mention it right at the start and kind of forgot, because it's only a new edition after we thought of how much we used one evening. There we go. So I would be very interested to know the names. I'm sure quite a few others would. We work medical, so I think language, you know, we're not going to be offended at all. So, once. And I found getting these off, it's usually, they come off a lot smoother in the middle. Why is it whenever I say things like that, it never comes to fruition? No worries, Grace, I just saw it in mine, but we don't get the pop-out notification that we used to. I had to eat before setting into BC. Oh, don't be sorry at all, lovely. It's appreciated when anyone tunes in, whether it's for all of it, halfway through, for a little bit while they're doing something. It's not a problem. The support is always appreciated. Most of those. Oh, that is one thing. Funnily enough, me and Rob were talking about this the other day with weathering. The only unfortunate thing is they are flat. They aren't embossed. Which was a discussion, funnily enough, we were having in terms of weathering, you know, because you'd love with certain buildings to weather certain bricks, but because there isn't any definition to them, it is going to be a bit more tricky. So yeah, unfortunately they're completely flat, but I suppose it would increase the costs getting them embossed. So this tab is getting glued down here. Brian, I've just had your message come through as well, lovely. I'm assuming that's pictures, so thank you. We'll take a look at them either after I finish the live or tomorrow morning. This one falls down here, apparently. So we have a little tab here. I'm assuming, as usual with these things, these foldovers help it all fit into place. I've always loved that about these kits, how well they do fit together. You know, sometimes that well that you add the glue anyway, but you wonder if you would need it, so. Oh, I like that comment. Cole Crofter. I'm not sure if I've seen you on here, so if I haven't, very welcome. I remember the days I used to have patience. Trust me, some days are easier than the others for sure. So, we have other tabs to sort. That's our inner gable supports. So just bear with me while I get that one, guys. It's on a big sheet at least. Yeah, so 2 of these sheets are exactly the same. I can't go wrong there. I'm just making sure I get the right one. Yeah, it is these ones down here. And there is one for each side. Goldcroft, I guess I are you on the island? Oh, I wonder which island that is. I certainly haven't got that. There we go. Can't say I've heard of Cole, but then me and Directions are not best of friends, so. So this also talks about tabs. Fold over and glue back the 3 tabs. So this one folds up and these 2 fold back. So oh, hay fever is not my friend this year. I'm guessing that we are going this way. Like I remember one of my first foldings and I actually sorted them. Thank you, Cole. I might have to go and blow my nose in a minute. So these all fold up and get glued down. So just bear with me while I sort that. I've just realised I don't know what you guys think about the focus tonight. Just catching the view on that. I think it was focusing more on my arm and my hands and the actual building. If anybody does ever see things like that, please let me know. I just find it's important because obviously while I'm concentrating on the build, I don't always see how the screen is looking. Yeah, these kits are absolutely brilliant, to be honest, Cole. I am definitely converted. I did my first kits. It was actually an engage. It was practice for me. But I am nothing but impressed. The only things that have been difficult on different kits is the instructions. But you first get into the mindset of Metcalf thinking, but as the kits have progressed, so with the instructions, so... Oh, no way, Digger. I'm wondering, is it one of those factories that you can go and actually see, or is it one of those you can't? It'd be brilliant if they offered tours and that, wouldn't it? And I suppose it's, in one sense, just a printing office and designing, isn't it? I'm not sure if you can take a tour. It's in skips. It'd be interesting if you could, wouldn't it? Be a nice afternoon out, but I suppose someone's got to take the time to show a person. Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? Flymo, because it's actually a working. But then I never know. I suppose it depends on how popular it is, isn't it? And the problem is, I suppose, once you've seen it once, you've seen it, haven't you? Unlike certain places you can go to, and obviously, I gather it develops.
The must-see places include the Blue Mosque, Hagia Sophia, and Topkapi Palace.
Never heard of any of those places. Alexa is listening in. I think what I might do for the evening, though, guys, is... I know it's only figure one, but obviously it's with the continued thing. I think because of the time and starting so late, I have had a busy few days with work and whatnot. So I think I'm just going to get these glued on. Obviously the glazing you stick on after. And that might be it for tonight. So I am sorry it's a shorter one, and especially with this, not much is done. But it is quite a tiring thing. Keep bottom edges flush and check the oppositions right. So it wants you to focus on the bottom rather than the top. I would have gone for the top, so I'm glad I read through that. So it want you to make sure that they are flush at the bottom. Side front of right cherry in the supporters position exactly centre between them. Right, so I think we've actually got a good line there, but once we get it glued, we will make sure that they are still in position. So I'm just going to go and get this one glued. So yeah, I am sorry it's a shorter one tonight, guys. As I said, it has been a rather few busy days here for us, mainly between work and the hours that we've been did the delivery of our wedding photos, so it's definitely been a bit mad here. And obviously with the later time as well. And Fridays are usually shift days, so I think I'm going to get this glued ahead. And then I will finish these off live because I think you guys know how to glue windows to these sections. So hopefully Saturday we'll be live for a bit longer. But again, I appreciate it's hopefully a nice sunny weekend. So I'll move it up so that's flush. So you've gone out the camera view for a minute just to check those slides. And just make sure everything is stuck down where it needs to be. So yeah, guys, I am gonna look at heading off. I know you guys all like to say goodnight to each other. Now, obviously with this, as I said, you guys are used to gluing the glazings, and that's probably the long part of it, isn't it? So obviously once I glue, these will fit in nicely here. So hopefully by the next live, both sides will be made up. As I said, I imagine watching gluing windows is probably not the most exciting things. So I am sorry it's a shorter one than usual as well. So I'm just going to finish gluing this up. Well, I know everyone likes to say goodbye to each other, so... because I don't know how long the comments stay open for, because on my computer it's not for very long, and it's signed into my portraits, not the RGJ. So after this it will be a good night from me. Probably be different if it was a weekend, but lots to do in the shed tomorrow as well. For some reason my glue is not coming out very well either. It's almost typical right at the end. No star, Chris. So when I didn't need this to come out so much, here now does. So I hope everyone has a lovely day tomorrow. There's plenty to do. Apply a few dots up here because it's drying. So yeah, as I said, just doing this gluing while everybody says their goodnights. That's what I do love about this community as well, is how everybody does do that. So interestingly, here we do have some tabs on this side. So hopefully that keeps up with my guidance for the folds. That seems to work pretty well. Squish that over a touch. Just make sure it's lined up. So both our supports are on here now, guys. Obviously, as I said, I will crack ahead with the glazing off alive and get the other one sorted as well. So hopefully by the next live we should have both sides sorted, all the glazing in, ready for the next stage, because I think the stage after is a building. So I want to wish everyone a good night from me. Cheers for checking in tonight, guys. Take care, everyone. I'm going to do my usual and leave it up for a minute or so, just to give everyone that chance to say goodnight to each other. And then I'll keep an eye on the who's watching. So, a very good night, guys. Gute Nacht, Jan. It's nice to see everyone saying goodnight in different languages. I've already seen my Welsh tonight, so...